What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight is Chris, the stats man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. Jaylen Brown signed the richest contract in NBA history. I have a joke. I don't want to say it, so I'm not going to say it. Congrats, Jaylen Brown.
His chances of getting canceled are not zero. Also getting those minutes. Spotify wrote that. It's the lawnmower, Jerry McCrowski. Get that, Joe.
USA. Welcome back.
There he is. He's ready. Yeah, it's been a minute. We're a little rusty here. And making us sound as delicious as Dove. It's Adam, the professional runs. How the levels tonight, Adam?
They are fantastic.
Ooh, that's all right. We're a little rusty on the intro, so a little rusty on the timing. But we got a good show for you guys tonight. A couple weeks off here for us, for your boys. Summertime. We got some NBA stuff. And we're also kind of lightly doing a live watch here, as Joey's pointing out. USA, the women's national team is playing tonight. Netherlands currently down 1-0. So tough there. But we will touch on that. But we have tonight. Yeah, no game talk. Hashtag no game talk. We have Chris's top 150 players in the league. He really went deep on this. Sicko mode. Gave us a big list. Gave us some tiers. Very interesting. I thought, pretty accurate. So pretty solid. We're gonna break that down. We're gonna kind of see where we think that those guys landed. We're gonna make a fake lineup around Zach Lavine that we feel could be the best realistic lineup around Zach Lavine. I had some good ideas on that. And then we're going to touch on the new in-season tournament, which I'm not sure if you guys have locked in. You guys are on that, but,
Thoughts?
I got some thoughts. I'm actually kind of excited for it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Chris, your top 150, what was the, the origin of this list? What was going on? Were you just like, hey, it's off season, I'm a little bored. I'm ranking 150 players here. What's going on?
I think it's because the Ringer came out with their list, and I was kind of irritated seeing the players and knowing, all right, if I think their list is bad, I should be able to do a list myself to show just how to try to understand how to get to the word at. And it made me validate that some of their rankings were insane. We're not going to talk about their list today. We're just going to focus on this list. But I do want to shout out Richie for getting the top 10 correct in order.
Nice. Courtside Rich.
He did have it on lockdown.
Uh-oh. Chris just froze up. Yeah, he did have it. All right, you're back, Chris?
I'm here. So without further ado, figured we can just start with, I have the top 10 is broken out into 3 tiers. Tier 1 has 3 players. Top player with a solo championship. If you have this guy in your team, you're in the discussion each year. Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Stephen Curry.
Nice.
Any thoughts? Yeah, here I'll just do the top 10. The second tier we got Embiid, Embiid, Doncic, Durant. Top players, they have a little flaw, whether it's poor playoff performance, kind of lazy, or just maybe isn't a true number one. kind of just describing each player there. And then tier 3 is 4 players right below a true number 1 option. In my opinion, really, that's just all this is. Jimmy Butler, Tatum, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. Thoughts on that?
I thought this list was pretty accurate. I didn't see too much kind of like wiggle room here. I think I maybe have an argument for Booker, like not being in the top 10. He's coming up later, but other than that, I kind of thought this was pretty solid, and I thought the order was fairly accurate. Joey, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's actually pretty good. I think my only one maybe I could have maybe moved around a bit with Steph.
Okay. Ooh. Not in the top 3.
I don't think he's top 3. I think Embiid, unless you're doing it by position, I think Embiid, well, you're not really because Jokic and Giannis, unless we're getting that debate again, but I think you could move Embiid potentially into the top 3. I think that there's a decent conversation to be had there.
Do you want to break out your analytics on top 10 guys here? Do you have numbers to back up that statement and beat over Curry?
Joey went an analytical approach to see kind of how Chris's list stacked up. So go ahead.
So my list actually put Embiid at number 1.
Wow.
It put
wrong.
Embiid number 1. Wait, is it just based on last season?
Yes, mine is purely based on last season's stats.
Okay.
So put Embiid number 1, Luka number 2, and Giannis number 3.
Wow.
And I looked at points per game, rebounds, assists, steals, turnovers, effective field goal percentage, minutes played, player efficiency, usage percentage, and then I dumped in a salary cap percentage.
Okay.
And I took into account salary cap as a percentage. Their salary is a percentage of the total team salary cap. And then I weighted it according to their record in minutes played. So if the record was poor and they had like a high salary cap percentage, that was detrimental to them.
Okay.
So basically you couldn't just be a really good player on a really bad team and be like, wow, I'm great. So what I was attempting to do was saying, like, if you're taking up a ton of salary cap space, that should be potentially detrimental to you unless everything else kind of comes along with it.
What's the formula that you kind of put together with points, assists, rebounds here?
Yeah, so I took their actual stats from last season, multiplied it by the weight, and then added it all together and gave them a total score. And then everybody was just ranked on highest score to lowest score. Yeah. So Embiid gets high marks for a high usage rate and has a very low percentage of salary cap take up. So he's only 27% of the Sixers salary cap. Jokic is kind of similar. He's at 26.7, but Jokic's usage is 10 points beneath Embiid's, which is kind of interesting, actually.
He doesn't play a lot of as much minutes, right? Or no, they're probably both on the same thing.
Minutes are relatively the same. Embiid plays a minute more per game.
Okay.
But everything else is kind of equal there. But Embiid's usage is kind of through the roof. But all in all, I mean, they're not terribly far off. If you looked at the scores, all of them are very, very close together. We're just splitting hairs at this point, which is kind of what makes it interesting.
True. Yeah.
I think Steph at 3. Maybe it's because of the age for me, but I feel like he's getting maybe past here a bit.
I don't hate that argument, but I don't know. That's tough. It's tough to not. It's tough.
I just thought about it like if they're in a 7-game series, it beat against Curry. I'm taking Curry every single time.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of why.
That's fair.
Especially seeing Embiid just implode. Like he doesn't get enough blame for how poor the Sixers have been in the playoffs. They haven't made it out of the second round.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Ben Simmons took a lot of that blame before, and now Embiid. Yeah. That's the only reason really I have it Embiid lower. So seeing him analytically at number 1 is interesting.
Yeah,
maybe not too surprising, but like So I understand, but he had to come down a notch because he's a poor playoff performer.
That's a good point. I did not take into account postseason performance here at all. So,
I wonder if his numbers would take a hit.
Interesting.
Any other surprises, Joey, that I didn't already mention in your top 10?
In the top 10, yeah, Jimmy Butler, you have at 7. I have him coming in at 21.
Wow.
He's not a numbers guy.
Yeah, I would say that makes sense based on analytics for especially regular season. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Based on analytics. And then you had Anthony Davis at number 9. I had him at 13, so not far off the top. He's not too far off there. That's
not too bad.
It's pretty fair. No,
yeah.
But everything else was pretty close. They're just all kind of shuffled up in the top 10, which I think is a fair conversation at some point.
I think, like, if I was going to pick some nits here, looking at it, pick some nits. I could maybe see the argument for Steph coming out of that top 3 and moving in a Doncic or a Durant, to be honest. Embiid would still be in that other tier. I would maybe replace Davis with Kawhi, even though he's really hurt and doesn't play. When he plays, he's that number 1, like, could get you to the finals type of guy. But this would be the last year that I would do that with him. If doesn't come through this year, it's like, all right, you're not that guy anymore. And then maybe just some of the things with the tiers. So are you saying Embiid, Doncic, and Durant aren't number 1s? Because that was the one thing I was kind of curious to say. Or isn't a true number 1? Wow. Okay. Well, I can actually see that.
So Luka's the number 1, but like, what happened last year with him?
This is a great one.
It was such a confusing season.
The team tanked around him, though, right? And they kind of like forced him to like
but
they got Kyrie. They were kind of winning with him, but then without Doncic, they were winning with Kyrie. But then Luka comes back. Everyone's thinking they'll go on this run, and then they implode. It was just like, what?
But is that what happened? They got Kyrie.
I mean, maybe Kyrie.
That's a crazy thing, though. You guys remember they didn't make the play-in, man.
That's why I'm like
that's
I thought Luka's almost a little bit high, but that's why I couldn't have him in the top tiers because last year he was so good making it to the conference finals, and they just are like the 11th best team. It's like, wait, what?
Like, I like where he's at. I mean, like, that to me was like a rep slot more than hey, this is what you did last year. It's more like, okay, you got here, I'm going to give you this.
Yeah, we'll give you a year or two.
We'll give you a year, but you can't be doing this all the time.
It kind of makes sense because it's kind of with the Embiid picture. It's like you're a good regular season player, but when it comes down to it, of either getting in the playoffs or doing well in the playoffs, it's kind of like, where do you go, right? Luka's had really good playoff performances, but missing the play-in last year is kind of a black mark on the.
Embiid's making big men look bad in the playoffs too. They're like, big men can't win in the playoffs unless you're
Jokic makes up for it.
Jokic helps it out a little bit.
He does.
You want to keep moving down your list?
Let's do it. Tier 4, star level player with a lack of a playoff resume, or he needs a little bit more recent success, or just needs more consistency. I have 7 players here: Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, Kawhi, Jamal Murray, Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Bam, and Lillard. Any players shout out at you there?
Bam is the one that jumps off to me.
Bam is too high?
Too high, yes.
Okay.
I have Bam too high. I think he should be in tier 5. Your next tier.
Joey, what do your analytics say on Bam?
Bam should be in tier 5. I have him ranked at 38, which would put him at the very bottom of tier 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one that stands out, Damian Lillard. My stats put him at 4, and I think that's just not accurate. He's definitely a tier 4. So that's one where the analytics get kind of squirrely. Everything else though was pretty close. The biggest one though was Jamal Murray. So my analytics put Jamal Murray at 43.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you kind of look, it at the stats across the board, it actually makes a little bit of sense. Out of like all these guys we're talking about, lowest points per game, way low on the rebounds, pretty average on the assists, and then everything else is just kind of mediocre. Also, he has very low minutes played, which makes sense coming back from the knee injury that he did. And his player efficiency is the lowest until you get down to DeJounte Murray.
Wow.
Yikes.
Tough beat for my boy Jamal.
So looking at it that way,
why do I even have
DeJounte, you had him at 40.
Okay.
That seems fair.
40. That was the biggest one. Everything else was pretty close.
Were your analytics there when he was banging in threes in the finals? I think not.
No. Grabbing boards. Using all 6'4",
30 and 10s, triple doubles.
I have the postseason. Hey, the analytics to speak for themselves, right? There's no opinions in this. This is
true.
This is
as a man who loves
analytics and stats.
I feel like the facts are betraying us right now. This is kind of it's shockingly interesting here. I thought there would be kind of in line.
We were pretty close here, though.
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
Devin Booker, Chris had Devin Booker at 14. He came at 16 for me.
Yeah,
Mitchell was 15 for Chris, 11 for me. That's all. That's all pretty good. Kawhi, I had at 23. So Kawhi was at 23, but that one's hard to judge with the minutes played. Yeah. So it's kind of a caveat there. But
where was Shea for you?
Close. Shea actually came in at 5.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking he's probably up there.
Yeah, super high usage, very low impact to the salary, very low impact to the salary cap. Super high player efficiency rating. So he got some good press on a back to a very good season, which I think actually makes sense.
I really like the salary cap part of it because it's kind of like who's the best superstar for the money, best bang for your buck.
And it's 25% of their salary cap.
That's not bad. Shea Gilgeous could have been drafted by the Bulls. I want to point that out. We'll get into another topic later here.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
Tier 5 can be the second or third best player on a championship team. Starting off with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, the Kingsmen, Anthony Edwards, Jaylen Brown, richest man in the NBA now, Trae Young, Paul George, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Brunson, John Morant, James Harden, Zach Lavine, Pascal, Lauri Markkanen, Brandon Ingram, Demar, Tyrese Halliburton,
DeRozan,
Mikal Bridges, Bradley Beal, Karl Anthony Towns, and Drew Holiday. 21 guys.
Bradley Beal now on the Suns. The biggest one that jumped out to me is Ja. He needs to be higher.
Yeah, you're a Ja. Yeah.
Ja needs to be higher. Ja should be in the tier above with he should actually replace Lillard. Lillard should be bumped down.
What are the
tier. Number? What number should Ja be?
He should be top 15. So if you move Bam, Lillard. All right, so he could be in that 16th spot. I don't know if I can argue. Well, I would actually argue over Donovan too. So Booker, Jamal.
The analytics say he should be number 12.
Okay, that's close to where I have it.
Ja, man.
Ja Morant. I mean, I know he's got a lot of stuff going on, so there's some issues.
Bam down. Okay.
There, I can't really argue with the.
Why did you put him at 20, Chris? Why did you put him so low?
I just think that
non-basketball activities.
Come playoff time, like I know he did well against Golden State, but
you're right.
Honestly, I even like Trae Young made the conference finals 2 years ago, so I put him above Anthony Edwards. I would rather have him than John Morant. The biggest thing, my biggest cry I had was Jalen Brunson or John Morant. Like, who do I want for the next 3 years? And Jalen Brunson just seems like such a revelation for that team. So, yeah, that's the question, though. Like, who would you rather have for the next
That's not a crazy argument, but it's also kind of a crazy argument.
Dude, what Jalen did against Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen was cooking.
Them. Yeah. And he did it last year with Dallas, right? When Luka was out. So, he's proven it back-to-back years. And, I don't know about Ja, man. He's going to be out for the first, 50 games?
25.
Just 25? Okay.
Yeah.
Just 25.
But I'm with you. There's a real short shelf life, I think, with him. I think you got to win in the next 3 years. If you don't, I think Zach Lowe, I was listening to his podcast. He was talking about if they're not making a finals or a conference finals in the next 3 years, something went wrong with this team, or there was like injuries or something. Because one, the team is that good. I mean, even without Ja, they're still pretty solid. And then you got a guy like Ja, you should be there. And it kind of real Derrick Rose vibes. I mean, not in the sense that he's going to get hurt, but like where there just might be a ceiling on his game come playoff time, like you're saying, Chris. There just might be. He's just not a good enough shooter, and all his stuff is in transition and like penetration and stuff. That it kind of just dries up in the playoffs. So I don't hate the argument, but
any other thoughts on Lavine, DeRozan?
No, this is actually one of the closest tiers, I think, looking through it. So just names, Lavine, you had him at 28, Stats had him at 31. So it's pretty comparable. Right. Pascal was 29 versus 26, so that's pretty good. Daymar was 32 versus 29. So
Daymar.
All these ones are relatively close. The only one that was way off was Mikal Bridges. Stats said he should be 61, which I think is another
anomaly
flaw of just the usage numbers are down. Player efficiency rating is not very good. It's a 17. Oh, I guess so. He's the worst after Jamal before you get to Javante, but not far off. But 61 is absurd. I think he's mid 30s, low 40s kind of guy. That seems accurate. But no,
I like it.
This is pretty close, Chris.
We're still getting
impressed,
close,
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
A little disappointed. Something for like some kind of like, what? I can't believe we have.
I can't believe. No, this is actually really, really well thought out, Chris.
Wait, this could probably be the last section. After this, I have Cade and Zion. We don't really talk about them. Chris Paul, All right, so we got how many people? Tier 6. We have 24 people. Desmond Bain, DeJounte Murray,
23 guys, 20.
JJJ, Fred VanVleet, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, the 3 Cavs, Cavaliers right in a row, Porzingis, OG, Scotty, Barnes, Gobert and Kessler back to back, MPJ, Michael Porter Jr., DeAndre Ayton, Nicholas Claxton, Jalen Williams, Kyrie Irving, Tyrese Maxey, Miles Turner, Brooke Lopez, Aaron Gordon, Josh Giddey, Franz Wagner, and Kyle Kuzma close at number 62.
All right. My main argument here is Kyrie. Again,
too high?
No, too low.
Too low. Okay.
Again, I get it with Kyrie. I mean, look, man, you can't really argue about it. If we're looking on skills alone here. He was the second best player on a championship team, but I digress.
Yeah.
Is this the all you can have him tier?
Ooh, that's
most
good.
of these names are on the except the only name I wouldn't want, like Jalen Williams,
Garland.
Jalen Williams I would not include, but everyone else that's a good one.
I mean, I think this is like the all you can have him team or the sneaky I want him, like maybe Desmond Bain. Who else?
OG maybe.
Yeah, OG, Aaron Gordon. Those are guys like you kind of want. Franz Wagner. But then you got your Kuzmas, Ayton. Yeah. Kristaps. All right.
That's funny.
That's an interesting tier. Scotty Barnes. I think you can have him.
I think is extremely far off here.
Oh, you're okay. You're off here.
How do you guys? Yeah, how do you feel with the Rudy being at 49? That seems like a stretch. The stats say he should be 89.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Where do they have Kessler in those stats?
The stats say he should be 89 because he makes 31% of their team's salary cap.
Okay.
I think are you getting 31% of the team's value out of that guy? Like, absolutely not. Like, that has to be. I mean, there has to be an impact for that.
That's interesting. That's an interesting wrinkle
for the money.
I also think Walker Kessler being at 50 is a way too early decision.
Yeah, this is year 1, right?
It's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Stats say 113. I think that's probably way too high.
Yeah, 113.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
I mean, low points, 9 points a game, right? I mean, it's just kind of.
He averaged like 7 blocks.
Yeah, he played 23 minutes a game though.
What's that salary cap?
Right.
What's he doing in the cap here?
2.2%.
Oh, wow.
I'm curious where Jalen
That
Williams
rookie deal.
is on that list.
Jalen Williams says 101.
Okay, this is wild.
This is
Okay,
101.
man.
But you know what? It kind of makes sense though, because the way that I weighted everything, like I weighted usage as the highest value of a player's like value to the team.
Yeah.
The
guy that gets
the highest,
the most, yeah.
right? The guys getting the most should be 25% of your overall weight of your entire like performance score. So
then
that's
like
where
that's where
the
was Kyrie
rookies
ranked?
Kyrie was ranked at 17, which is a slight flaw, but
That's what I'm saying though.
Okay, there's a.
Yeah.
This is okay. I like how we were just like, "Hey, Chris, great list," and then come to here, it's just all over.
Yeah.
The place.
Well, you would get to a point where I think it would start to fall apart. It would start to unravel.
yeah.
This is it. We're here.
But a lot of the other guys though are not very far off. Like I mean, there's some very.
Where's like Aaron Gordon?
Like Desmond Bain was 39 versus 40. Aaron Gordon 59 versus 69. All right.
Nice.
So they're like you're really close. Josh Giddey was 60 versus 64. I mean, they're all pretty close here. I think it's just some of the rookies struggle. I think in my value.
Yeah.
Of that, which I think is a fair thing to say. That it's hard to rate a rookie after one season.
Yeah.
As being a very high top.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I just want Gobert in the top 50. I think that might have been a personal.
I think that's fair.
Thing.
As much as I don't like Gobert, and I'm a noted Gobert hater.
I mean, hey, the Timberwolves were the toughest series that the Nuggets faced in the playoffs. So, you know, according to Bruce Brown.
Clickbait for a podcast he's probably doing.
Yeah.
He's probably podcasts.
All right. Well, that's the list. The other name I really wanted to call out here is Alex Caruso at 86 in tier 8. I feel like he might have been higher because he's just all these defensive metrics went out for him. He was the best defensive player basically in the league last year.
You want to know what's
when you put plus minus up there and everything else.
Yeah, where did Caruso come out in the stats? Caruso.
Oh, and Jeremy Grant, I have at 71.
Vooch.
He just signed a $150 million contract. Curious where you got him, Joey.
Yeah,
and then I've got Jaden McDaniels at 68, which is
Draymond Green at 80.
That feels right.
That feels low, right? Behind Marcus Smart? Clint Capella? Come on now.
Clint Capella.
Tobias Harris? Better than Draymond and Clay? I just noticed Clay's at 79. Wow, man. This isn't a big three according to Chris. This is Steph and some clowns.
It kind of was that. I felt like that last year.
It felt like last year. I think so, man.
Stephen
dudes here, man. Whoa.
Stephen solid starters on a winning team.
Oh, you know what? Kind of fair. Now that you say it that way.
That's the team.
Solid starters on a winning team. Kind of fair.
All right, there was some names shouted out. I'll just give you the ranks. So Jaden McDaniels, Chris had him at 68. My stats put him at 126.
All right.
Jeremy Grant, you had him at 71. I had him at 62. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Vooch, you had him at 75. I had him at 56.
Okay. Those boards. Loving a game.
Boards. Draymond Green, Chris had him at 80. Stats put him at 131.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. How about Clay? Do we say Clay's 79?
Super low usage. Caruso, you had him at 86. Stats put him as the dead last player in this.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
But I mean, low minutes played,
defense.
Very low efficiency, very low usage. Defense. Yeah, I don't really take into account a ton of defense in this, which is probably a flaw in the logic.
You can't really.
Klay Thompson, you had him at 79. My stats put him at 52.
Yeah. Okay.
So Vooch is only four spots worse than Klay. Actually,
that seems right.
Terribly.
And then Tyson throwing shots at Clint Capella.
Yeah, Clint Capella.
Clint Capella.
I'm just saying above Clay and Dre.
Come
come on now.
You might be right. You might be right on that one.
Clint Capella was stats rank of 95.
Oh,
95
okay.
versus
That's
74.
It's okay.
That's not
tier
crazy.
He gets an okay boost from the salary cap percentage.
He's still above Dre in the stats, so maybe I'm just wrong here. Maybe they need to get Clint.
He's a compelling player for that Atlanta Hawks team. So.
Nice. Dead joke.
Well done. He has 3 kids, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Any other notes on the tiers, man? That was solid. I really like that.
This is something I'm gonna want to just date and then readjust, come back to it as we see fit. So
maybe at the end of the season.
Yeah,
that's good. All right, we got another topic here that Chris brought up again too. Chris is on fire this week, man. He said, build your ideal starting 5 around Zach Lavine.
Should we give some background, Chris? How did this come up in your head?
Oh, how did this come? Okay. So I was listening to Russell's pod. He did like a live show in New York, and a Knicks fan asked him, "Who's your ideal starting 5 to build around Jalen Brunson?" And but they're like, "But no superstars. It's gotta be like it's such a New York thing." So I'm like, let's just Chicago that and like Brunson and Lavine. Where do I have? Where do I rank? Where do I rank those two from each other? Brunson's 25 and the Lavine is 28. So they feel like the same. So then I was thinking about okay, what would be a perfect team around Lavine? And you want after seeing Jamal Murray really play in the finals and players like Marcus Smart, you want a tall point guard who can play defense. Like, man, who could the Bulls get that could be a tall point guard that could play defense? Oh, they have it. It's Lonzo Ball. So that's how this list kind of started. And then from there, I'm like, all right, a wing defender. You wanted someone who can, be pretty long, lanky, can knock down a 3. You can trust him maybe to handle the ball as a secondary ball handler, not maybe as a primary. Who could this guy be? And then, honestly, Franz Wagner fit the salary cap, fit that kind of fold for me. And that power forward. You want to be a big guy. You also still want to be able to shoot 3, spread the floor so Lavine can drive the paint. And Lauri Markkanen kind of really fit that for me. Just looking around the league and seeing how he can grab boards and really dedicate and hit shots for you. And then center wise, I didn't really feel like I had that much of a budget left because you're spending a lot of money on Lavine on those 4, and I didn't want to go too crazy with the center. I thought about like Jakob Poeltl, Clint Capella came to mind. And I settled on Wendell Carter Jr. just to throw it out because I felt like it was pretty close and kind of not trolly, but like it's a pretty realistic lineup. And when you look at it, it's like, oh, that could have been a fun team.
Yeah. So I didn't really look into salary cap, so you probably would know better than me. But I went with like a realistic way of doing this I looked at the drafts since they got Lavine, and I kind of said, all right, who could they have realistically gotten in the draft to surround Lavine, and how could this could have gone? So I actually did have Lauri at the 4 too. I just said they kept him. They just ended up moving him to Cleveland. My 5 was Bobby Portis. He was on the team at the same time as Zach. I'm like, they should have just kept him. Big defender. That kind of a presence in the post. Yep, spreads the floor. I like that. My 3, my wing, was Bridges, Mikal Bridges. So he was drafted in 2018 at 10th, and Wendell Carter was drafted by the Bulls at 7. So I said, yeah. I was like,
that's a good one.
I was like, you know what? Could they have gotten Bridges there? That was actually the summer after Lavine got traded to the Bulls. A long, defensive-minded wing. Could guard the main guy while Zach kind of handles the ball. Perfect. And then
win the championship. Yeah.
Yep. And then drafted in 2020 with the 12th pick, Tyrese Halliburton at your point guard, a facilitator, ball handler, also a scorer. Not too much of a defensive presence like you were looking at, Chris, but I was like, you know what? I want a guy that can move the ball, a playmaker on this team. I liked Halliburton, and they could have got him over P. Will at 4. So
I like that team a lot. I would only want to fix the center spot, but
yeah,
that's a pretty strong team.
It was Halliburton at 1, Zach at 2, Bridges at 3, Laurie at 4, and then Bobby at 5, and that was just kind of what I didn't really know where else to go with that. But I think like if you had like a a big body, I actually almost thought about keeping Vooch there. I was like, just a rebounder, floor spacer, but defensively he's not really a guy. But I think you just need another defensive body. I think it would have been solid. Joey, I'm most interested in your team, man. Who do you think?
Our teams are not very different, actually, Titus. I had Halliburton as the point guard.
Nice.
Wow.
I was thinking like my original thought was like a Chris Paul type person.
Yeah.
But I was trying to think like ideally like somebody can obviously not Chris Paul, old guy. Lavine at 2. I put Markkanen at 1 forward, Bridges at the other forward.
Yeah.
And then my center actually with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I was thinking somebody like I was trying to set up a team where Zach doesn't have to handle the ball at all, and he doesn't have to play a whole lot of defense. So I was thinking, like a Bridges and Jaren Jackson can cover the defensive stuff, and Zach can just kind of be like a free flowing kind of guy.
Score.
Because that's where we see him at his best, right? When he's slashing and cutting and shooting off the catch and shoot, right? He's not a create your own shot, dribble and shoot kind of guy. He's a catch and shoot. So I was looking for quick guys who can move the ball, but if Zach getting locked down, you could also have somebody like Laurie who can space the floor. But Jaren Jackson was like your defensive anchor kind of in the thing. So I felt confident in the Jaren Jackson one. I like that one.
That's actually I really like him better than Bobby Portis.
Was there a time when the Bulls could have gotten JJJ? Who did they take that year that he was drafted? I don't know if you looked that up already.
2018 draft.
He would have gone high, right?
He was the 4th pick. I remember that.
Yeah, they would have. That was 7. They had Wendell at 7.
Oh, that was the same draft?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
Michael.
That's a good draft.
It's a hell of a draft.
We're not having even top picks in that year. There's a lot of guys in that draft.
So that's what we're saying is the Bulls could have built a great team around Zach. They just
could have
failed.
drafted. Yeah, they just drafted.
So it's not Zach's fault. It's the organization's fault.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
But it's wild. One, it's wild that we all kind of went the same way, especially me and Joey with basically the exact same team minus the center. And then, but I did have to snicker when Joey was like, I needed somebody to do everything, do defense, handle the ball. It's like basically do everything on the court, and Zach just kind of shoots. Like for our max player, it's just
He's becoming Heat Ray Allen already.
Much, yeah.
No, he becomes a true max player in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously the main point. Yeah,
the guy who's a specialist at doing one thing and one thing really well.
But I really liked with like Halliburton and Laurie as like they can also kind of get their own shot too. And then if you had like JJJ, I actually think that's the team right there with Bridges, and then as your kind of defensive guys. I like that.
Yeah, I was kind of tossing around OG too.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
as a Bridges like swap, but I think Bridges makes if you're looking for ideal, it would be a much better ideal.
And they realistically could have drafted him. So
yes, they could have.
He was there. He was there sitting there.
Don't if you're a Bulls fan, don't do what I did and start looking at drafts and seeing the Bulls position, where they drafted and who went after them. Just don't do that.
This is what I've been saying.
Just do yourself a favor. Don't do that, because you're going to get really mad and be like, oh, wow. And he was there. Because even I think in the 2018 draft, it might've been that one. I thought about Desmond Bane too, as like a shooter around him, and kind of having Zach as the creator, but kind of like what Joey was saying, where he's really not the ideal ball handler creator type guy.
Was that Zach's first season in Chicago?
Yeah. That was the first summer. But like, I'm like, if you had some floor spacers so he can just get to the basket, that might be kind of nice. But like Desmond Bane could have been drafted that year too. So it's like, man,
he went 30th, right? Or
yeah, I mean, he went late. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But
yeah,
they could have.
And they got Wendell that year, so it wasn't bad. The P
did
will
need a center that year. They did need a center.
Stop drafting for need. Draft for talent.
100%.
They didn't want to keep Omer or Sheik around anymore.
Yeah, I got back to whenever they drafted Denzel Valentine, and that was rough.
Oh man,
because I forget who went after him, but there was a couple of guys. I'm like, ooh,
that was like bad at the time too.
Yeah, it was bad at the time.
Right?
It was like no. This 4-year guy out of Michigan State. Please, let's not do this.
They did a thing with like that, like 17 to like 20 pick for like 3 years in a row, where they were like, "Well, we're going to find the next Jimmy Butler, right? We found him once, and then we traded him away.
Do it again. Yeah.
We could do it again. It'll be fine until Valentine's it."
Yep, that's the guy. And this is why we're living in our nightmare. That is the Bulls season.
Purgatory.
Fantasy that could have been.
You know what? Maybe they can win something this year. Maybe they can win an in-season tournament.
Nice transition.
I'm getting okay at this. So, the NBA has announced that they're going to start. Is this a trial year? Have you guys heard this about it?
They're just going to do it.
They're just doing it, right? It's been submitted, right?
We're just going.
Yes. So it is the NBA in-season tournament. I'm going to pull up some stuff about this here. It's actually, so I'm going to first say, like, I heard about this. It sounds pretty cool, and it starts the day after my birthday, so I'm just going to be all in. Like, I've just decided without even sight unseen, like, I'm just going to be all in on this. I'm going to ride or die for it. But it sounds pretty cool. So the summary is that there's group play, very similar to like World Cup, if we're kind of watching right now. 6 teams in each. It's 5 teams in each. 5 teams in each pool. So there's groups A, B, and C in each conference, and it's based on record. So they took one team out of each sort of record tier and put them in a group. So the groups are kind of, divided up with good teams and bad teams. So for instance, the Bulls group is Group C. It's the Celtics, Nets, Toronto, Bulls, and the Magic. So, I think pretty good winnable group.
It's kind of tough. Celtics Raps in there.
Raps
Magic could be good. They got some guys.
I hear Magic's solid. Yeah, Nets will be solid.
2 teams go through those.
Yeah, maybe Raptors are falling off. That's true.
So I thought this is pretty cool. These games are all going to happen on Tuesday and Friday nights, and when they're going to happen, there's only going to be group play games on those nights, which I thought was really cool. And then once they kind of go through the group stages based on points, they'll have a final 8 bracket that will play single elimination games. And then the semifinal and the final will be in Vegas at neutral sites. And the only game that will not be a regular season count as a regular season game is that championship game. That will be quote unquote game 83. Chris, let's start with you here, man. What are your thoughts on the in-season tournament?
I was confused by the backlash on it, to be honest. I think it's because it's a new thing, so people don't like new things and they want to try to bash it right when it happens. But when you read into it, it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
to have something before the new year that kind of means something. And like over time, the only way traditions happen is when you have to start them at some point. Like the Winter Classic in hockey.
Yeah.
Wasn't always a classic. It's only 7 years old now, I think. So no, this tournament's perfect. I'm excited for it. I'm all for it. I think it was a very creative idea, and I'm definitely watching it. We're definitely going to cover it.
Yes, maybe it gets added to our preseason picks.
Ooh, yeah.
I think a new category. Who wins
one.
the Coach's Cup or whatever it's called, NBA Cup? Joey, what were your initial thoughts?
I might be one of the projectors on it. I don't love the idea of the days of the week that it's on.
Okay.
I would prefer it to be on a night, like a time where it's easier to watch all the games at once. I was also hoping, I think it'd be more fun if they did it like a March Madness style, where it was we're going to do it like Christmas Day.
Yeah, and you had a dedicated
and a dedicated day where all the group games happen. It's like a 2-day kind of spread. I know that's not that reasonable because it's difficult on the players and whatnot, but I was hoping for more of a very concerted, right now that they're having the group play games are happening right now. I kind of wanted it to all happen at once. I'm fine with it counting towards regular season record. I think that's smart. You don't have to tax the players with extra games. I think I just really wanted the group play to happen more altogether. That was my big thing that I was missing from it.
So you don't from what I read, it's going to be two games on those 2 nights. So Tuesday nights and Friday nights. There'll be 2 group play games. That next Friday will be 2 group play games. Then Tuesday, Friday, 5. So it does take a month to get through the group play. Would you like to see that like in a week or in a couple of nights?
Yeah, I'd like to see it like a week. Like you take like an all-star break in like, December type thing, or like, maybe like Thanksgiving time, where like there's no other, like you're not like, you wouldn't put yourself up against like the NFL or anything like that. Like you would create your own little window where you start the games at like 10 o'clock in the morning and the last game goes off at like 8 o'clock at night, and you have like a solid day where it's just like, hey, we're playing these group games. It's almost like it was in the bubble, right? Where it's like one game went in, the next game would just come on, and it was kind of like this thing. That's kind of what I was hoping for. I just was, I thought that would have been an exciting way to kind of like, at least for the first season too, to like kind of shove it in your face that like this is happening.
Hey, here we're doing this.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys listen to the episode that Tass Mellis did on No Dunks with the WNBA beat reporter?
Yeah.
About like the Commissioner's Cup, and like one of the things she was saying too was like they don't do a great job of you knowing that this game is different, like because it counts towards the regular season schedule, and I'm afraid that because it's part of the regular season, there's going to be like it's going to get kind of like lost in the shuffle, even though they're doing it over like a span
separate
of games.
Nights,
it's like, it's just these nights that these games are happening. I could see it easily kind of getting lost that this is like a different thing.
I could see that as far as like casuals and stuff. Like if like we're gonna be well aware that it's a group night or whatever they're calling it, tournament night. Like I know I'm gonna be locked in group night, so we'll be all set for it. But I think like somebody turn on a game and be like, wait, what's going on? This counts for a tournament and the regular season, and then because of the length and the spread out of it, that there might be some like, okay, wait, what's going on? It was Tuesday and Friday this week, and then next Tuesday, Friday, it's happening again. But all these, but Wednesday and Saturday is not for anything. So I can see some of that. But I think most hardcore NBA fans are going to at least be aware that it's happening. Hopefully, I mean that's what I kind of like about those nights.
I feel like something like this though was geared towards the casual fan, right?
Yeah.
Like, would the point of this game be like, hey, this is supposed to be like a separate kind of thing for somebody who doesn't want to sit and watch 82 games all season, can tune in for these 20 games. They can get a glimpse of it.
So are they still going to be playing other games? Are these Tuesday, Friday games are the only games happening for like a month?
So no, those nights it'll only be group play games.
But there might be like a Sunday or a Saturday game.
Yeah, they'll be the regular schedule. It's just so on starting November 3rd through November 28th. Every Tuesday and Friday will be a group play night.
Oh, this is going to get confusing.
Okay, see, I thought it was going to be pretty straight up. Like, it's just like, all right, Tuesday night's group play. I know it. Friday night, group play. Group night.
Group night.
Group night. So we'll have ball nights and we'll have group nights. I'm like, all right, we're locking in. Group night.
Ball nights? What's ball night?
Ball night's any night with basketball, man. My grandma texts me that every time the Bulls play. Ball night.
Ball night and group night. Okay.
Ball night, group night.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but you're at least going to be. Are you guys watching? You're going to be like,
yeah, for sure,
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I identify. Joe, you have good not frustrations, but hesitations on it. Like I think you're still optimistic on it, but you're just like,
the
format's kind of off.
It could be. I can see. I can see it maybe getting a little boring in the group stage.
Yeah, I think I just wanted it to be like in your face, like this is happening. This is our like we're taking over this week of the calendar when nothing else is happening, and it's going to be NBA in-season tournament week. And we're going to play a shit ton of games. They're all going to count towards your regular season schedule, so no one's playing extra. It's just going to be, everybody gets 2 days rest still between it, but games are going to be happening all day long.
Yeah, I think when it gets to the final 8, I think there's going to be some of that feel. I mean, obviously it's only 8 teams, so it's not like it's a crazy amount of games. But I think you're kind of maybe right, Joey, where like that March Madness feel is really cool. When you have 30 teams, you could kind of get that feel, but they didn't really go for that. I think my biggest concern was how early it is in the season, where I'm like, the season starts early, mid-October, late October. It's basically that 3rd, 4th weekend we're starting the in-season tournament. I kind of feel like everybody's locked in and engaged at that point. I would have maybe rather seen it, March, April. I guess maybe you don't want to go around March Madness and that stuff like that. But just to have something to break up that end of the season where, all right, everybody knows we have the lead up to Christmas Day. Christmas Day is like the unofficial opening. You got All-Star Weekend, and then maybe in the sort of those doldrums where it's just kind of low, we kind of have this mid-season tournament. But I think that maybe it makes more sense to put it up front and kind of get everybody warmed up for the season.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were doing it up front to try and like make people be excited early in the season.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense too.
Because the best part of the NBA is after the All-Star break, right? When all the teams know where they're probably going to land or are trying to fight for that position. So
Yeah,
it's
I guess.
hey,
Yeah,
if we do it early in the season, when people are like, none of these games really matter. It matters in March and April.
yeah.
But if it's just a random like Tuesday and Friday night when games are already happening, I don't know if they're going to accomplish that. I guess is my biggest hesitation on it.
I can see that.
But overall, though, I'm excited. I kind of like the idea that there's something else to play for.
Yeah,
it means nothing, but the Bulls will likely probably win it, and then there will be T-shirts.
Then it will mean something.
I'll be at Dick's Sporting Goods at 10:30 on a Tuesday night buying my play-in tournament champion T-shirt.
NBA Cup championship. All right, off the dome. Who wins the first cup? Joey.
Warriors.
Ooh, that's a good pick. Chris.
Thunder.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
one.
I like that. Yeah,
that's a good pick.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. For some reason, I feel like Giannis is just gonna get really into this.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, because
he's gonna take this really serious.
Yeah.
Like if they get into the tournament, that's like if they get into those final 8, like they might not, get through group play and who knows with injuries and stuff like that. But if they get into that group 8 or the group of 8, I think he's just gonna get super serious. But I really like the OKC pick, and I really like the who'd you pick, Joey?
Warriors.
I really like that.
Warriors, yeah.
I was kind of
I can see them.
Like, all you have to do is win one game at a time, right? Like you just.
Yeah.
I'd love to see like the Wizards, like for some reason, like Jordan Poole just goes on a revenge tour.
I feel like maybe the Warriors try to get Chris Paul a ring early.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get you this. Hey, we got this.
The rings? What? Maybe do they get bracelets?
Maybe do something, right?
Bracelets.
How many bracelets you got though?
What if LeBron gets a bracelet and then nothing else? It's just like, well, LeBron's got 4 rings and a bracelet.
Dude, you know what? That's a sneaky. Lakers are a sneaky pick too. LeBron's sitting there going, you know what? I'm just gonna go win this thing, and
he's probably gonna sit it out.
To win it.
He might sit it out.
He might sit it out.
Lakers and Clippers are like.
Kawhi ain't doing shit. He's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing extra or not. He's not playing early season games.
Yeah. Damn it, you might be right. I felt like LeBron might be like, you know what?
I will put it in the doc as a new pick.
Yes, for the champ.
Yes, I think that's
we can adjust our picks as we go. We won't hold ourselves to those 3 teams.
No. The roundtable picks are locked in. Once we put those in, we're in.
I'm good. I was probably gonna pick the Bucks anyway.
All right, cool. Pick a lot.
Yeah. We can. Right. Oh yeah, we can adjust them for that. We don't have to lock them in now. You're right. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
I was probably gonna go there, but I was like, I'll lock it in.
No, you can.
I'm ready to make our preseason picks. So, anything else tonight, boys? I'm getting ready. I got some. I think I got a dark horse in one of the categories, and I hope nobody takes it. So.
It's rookie of the year.
No. Yeah, I got an MVP dark horse. I think. I'm really excited about it. No, but that's a good guess.
Shea?
Oh, you fuckers. Yeah.
It's Shea.
Shea. I should have said nothing. No, not Shea. No, Shea.
Well,
I don't know why I like Shea. Well, probably strategically. Like, all right, where am I at? Who do I have a chance to draft a really good guy, or can I get Shea for value here late? But now I've tipped my hand and.
We're going to be really high in the Thunder. I think a lot of people are going to be high.
I think people are Chet, right? For
Chet, Shea,
rookie.
Josh Giddey.
Chet might be the Roy.
Yeah.
No, Chet is definitely. I think Chet's winning rookie of the year.
Oh wow.
Oh,
maybe you're straight up thinking it. Okay.
Yes! USA. Right
there we go. Right at the end. All right, well, we're gonna get off so we can watch the final 30 minutes.
Get out of here.
I also got to go to bed. So, all right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Join us in a couple of weeks. I think we're taking next week off, and then we're going to come back with, we're going to come back in 2 weeks, and it's going to be the case against Jordan. I am going to finally bring my debate about my thesis on LeBron versus Jordan using facts and stats only, taking my bias out of it, my LeBron loving bias. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. talk more NBA basketball. Follow us at Twitter, Instagram, or X, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
We gotta get on Threads.
We gotta get on Threads. Yeah, we gotta get on Threads. Get us on Threads. At the Box Out Boys, soon to be on Threads. Slide in those DMs. Join us Wednesdays around 8:30 to, or send us an email to theboxoutboys@gmail.com, especially in the summer. We're always looking for topics. And as always, like and subscribe wherever you listen to this at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Ty. So until next time, Box Out.